Hello and welcome to today's Starseed Healing Circle. So in today's session, we are going to continue on our work with the Lightbody activation. So we've got a meditation organized for that. And I've got a grid packed with some tachyons and a few cards. So let's dive in and look at the information that we're working with today and also dive into the meditation. So our tune in for today is the Starseed Ascension Lightcode. So let's find a moment just to settle in. Close your eyes and bring your focus and your awareness to what it is that you would like to work with today. What would you like to manifest? What would you like to release? What would you like to call into your life? What would you like to heal? Once you've got that all in alignment, you may open your eyes and allow your eyes to lightly and gently trace the light code, or perhaps just allow your eyes to rest lightly on the light code where they feel comfortable. No need to translate or interpret. I really like to use these light codes as a labyrinth for the eyes. So just allowing the eyes to gently trace the lines. Keep your focus in mind. And you may stay here as long as you need. Pause the recording if you need more time. So, as I'd mentioned, we are working with the Lightbody activation. We're moving on to the next center, which technically is not a center. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll also just let's talk about the center first, and then I'll look at the grid that I have laid out here. It's a simple grid, but the work here is really to get deeper into the Lightbody activation. Now, I don't know if any of you have practiced the Lightbody activation work, so the Lightbody techniques that I've shared with you, working with the lower three centers, the Nuya, Dinya, and the Liao. Today we are working with Mumin. I really encourage you to start playing with these energies. They are amazing manifestation tools. I have been using these Lightbody centers since 2007, and whenever I use them, it expands my psychic abilities, it expands my awareness, it helps me to manifest things, to create things. It really helps me to navigate life in a very different way. It takes us to a very different level. So I really encourage you to play with these energies and to experiment and explore with them. Perhaps go revisit the previous sessions that we've done where we've focused on the Nuya and the Dinya and the Liao. There's 3 separate sessions on those. I can add those dates in for those meditations. I'll add that into the description so that you can find those easily if you haven't worked with that yet. Okay, right. So the next center, and as I mentioned, it's not really a center, it's called Mumin. So we've got the Nuya, which is at the base of the spine. Then you've got the Dinya, which is roughly in the area where the ovaries would be for women. For men, it's in the same location. It's you just don't have ovaries, hopefully. And the Liao is just at the bottom here of the rib cage, where your ribs form this V shape in that soft hollow under the V. So it sort of aligns with the solar plexus. As I'd mentioned before, these Lightbody centers sometimes overlap with existing chakras, but they are not the chakras. They are a different level above that. So in the same way as we've got the physical body, and then you've got your energy body with your chakras that is on a subtle level, the Lightbody is on a more subtle level. So it really allows us to step deeper into higher frequencies. So the Mumin itself, as I'd mentioned, is not a center. It's more like a filter. And usually with the Lightbody work, we tend to really skim over the Mumin quite quickly. But I quite like working with it, so I'm going to see if we can spend a little bit more time with it today. The Mumin is like a dome shape that sits over or above your Liao. So it sits in the rough location of your diaphragm, your actual physical diaphragm. It's also seen as a dome shape. It goes 360 degrees around, and it acts as a filter to filter the energies that we create or pull in or work with in the lower three centers, and it filters that through to the higher centers above that. Now, for this particular filter, you don't really need to know how it works. It really works with intent. So you can choose what type of frequencies you want to move through the filter, whether it is lifting, harmonizing frequencies, or higher frequencies, or smooth, soft frequencies, or whatever it is. If you're working with expansive energies in the lower three centers, you may want to bring that expansive energies up to your higher centers. If you're moving with more focused energy in the lower three centers, you may want to filter that through into the higher frequencies. So this is all going to be about intention. You don't need to know how it works. You literally just think of what it is. You focus on the Mumin area and then focus on what type of energies you would like to filter through. This Mumin is usually quite a round dome shape quality, but it can be flattened out. My fingers are going a bit funny. So it can be flattened out. But even if it's flat, it's never like a flat line. It would be slightly curved at all times. And usually it sits around the space of the actual diaphragm, as I'd mentioned. But you can also take that out wider. So it almost sits like a really high tutu that domes over. So it depends on what energy you're working on at the bottom. And I really just encourage you to experiment and explore what it feels like to have a bigger Mumin or a smaller one, or a flatter one, or a more curved one, and then to explore through that. I think that's all that I'm going to say about the Mumin. As always, we want to be able to experience the energy more than anything else. So let's look at our setup for today. So I'm using the Aura Soma tarot deck. This is quite nice cards. I don't know if they're in print anymore. I think they may be out of print. But what's nice about these is they've got the tarot on the one side, and then they've got the Aura Soma bottle on the opposite side. So this is the tarot side. And what we have here, the red and pink card is the High Priestess, and the white and blue card is the Hangman. Now, the High Priestess talks about initiation. It's really about opening up to realms and information that has not been available before. So very much associated with initiation, especially if it's spiritual initiation. And so there's a revelation or something new coming in, new learnings, new teachings, and so forth. It ties in with the work that we're doing today. A new Lightbody center is being introduced to you. The Hangman is about, it could be sometimes about loss, losing things that no longer serve. Usually, if you look at the traditional tarot, the Hangman's hanging upside down and all of his coins are falling out of his pockets. In this case, we don't have the coins falling out, but the other aspect of the Hangman is about seeing things from a different perspective, seeing things in a new light. So it could be that where you are finding yourself currently, you are needing some new tools to deal with whatever you're dealing with. Or it could also be that you need to shift your perspective. I think both of these cards are really amazing cards to have for today's session, as they line up perfectly. And just see how it lines up for you, what it means for you. Where do you need to shift perspective and awareness and focus? When we flip the cards around, we have the Aura Soma bottles. And I'll show you the bottles in a second. So we have bottle 80 and bottle 12. And so we've got red over pink, is the 80 card, and the white over blue, which is the next card. So card 80 is about awakening of power, and it's usually associated with love and letting go. The bottle name is called Artemis. So here it's really about, I think the dominant characteristics here is about energy and power, your strength and your courage. When we're looking at the possible negative things here, it could be about suppression of emotions, or repressed emotions. It could be repressed love. It could be about survival issues. Perhaps you are finding yourself in a space where you are in survival mode, where you can't focus on things like emotions or things like that, where you've just got to go survival. It could also be about lack of trust, not trusting the universe, not trusting life, not trusting people, like not really trusting anything apart from yourself. And we need to be able to trust others at some stage in our lives. It could also be about not having enough love and then being angry about it. So there's a lot in this bottle that we can work with. As we work with the energy here, it really is about learning to shine your light, even if it's in difficult situations, and then to release any feelings of disconnection. If we look at the world around us, this world is all about disconnection at the moment. Disconnecting people because of beliefs. If we look at jabs and no jabs, separating and disconnecting people from sex and sexuality and gender, and race, and all kinds of things. Like there is a massive separation happening at the moment, and humanity is falling for it. Our job really is to stand together, hold each other's hands, and find unity and union with each other, because that's where our power lies. The affirmation for this card is, in this moment, I am free. In this moment, I am free. In this moment, I am free. Okay, then card 12, the white and blue one. The name for this one is Peace in the New Aeon. And as the name suggests, this is all about peace. The blue is about communication, and the clear is about clarity. So this is about clarity of communication, speaking about our feelings, our emotions, and really having a clear way of expressing our thoughts and our creativity. So this is our second card where we are moving towards. So I'm not going to focus on the negative qualities for this particular one. As we tune into the clear and the blue as well, this is about connecting with our guidance, whether this is from angelic guidance, higher self, inner guidance, or whatever it may be, connection with your soul. It's any form of that. And it leads us to a space of peace, tranquility, clarity, and so it's a very meditative energy. So here, what we wanting to do is we wanting to release any old stuff that is no longer serving, whether it's tears or anger, resentment, anything like that. So this card is really amazing for forgiveness and forgiveness work. And as we do that, as we release what is no longer serving, we get more into contact with ourselves. And the affirmation for this particular card is, the more at peace I am, the more light I am given. The more at peace I am, the more light I am given. The more peace I am given, the more at peace I am, the more light I am given. Okay, so then on these cards, I'll come back to, let's look at the bottles. There's the two bottles. So we've got red over pink and we've got clear over blue. Just give you a moment to look at those. Perhaps you just want to just look at the bottles and just allow yourself to become aware of what you sense and feel as you do that. Maybe a sensation of tingling, heat, awareness. Perhaps your eyes are drawn to one specific color more than another. Those are things to pay attention to as well. Okay, let's move on. So I have the two cards. On the High Priestess card, we've got a 12-sided pyramid in peacock color. And on the Hangman, we've got a 12-sided pyramid in clear. North, south, east, west positions here have rainbow spiral pyramids. These are 40 millimeter rainbow spiral pyramids. And then on the diagonals, we have the 30 millimeter rainbow spiral pyramids. The rainbow spiral pyramids are really amazing at releasing and clearing. They remove blockages and they ground energy in, so they're pulling new energy in and they're very gently releasing what is no longer needed. The 12-sided pyramids, they bring beams of light in and they've got a very strong angelic focus. And then above and below, we have two spheres. We've got an aqua sphere on top and the indigo sphere at the bottom. As I'm tuning into the reasoning behind those, because obviously I dowse here to see what tachyons we need where. As I'm tuning into that, the aqua connects with the throat center, which is our communication and our expression. And then the indigo sphere connects then with the earth star, which helps to filter out and release what no longer serves. So I'm thinking that today's session really is about shaking things up a little bit, clearing things, and releasing and removing blockages. Okay, so that is our grid that we've got laid out. And then let's have a quick look at the centers again before we get into the meditation. So just to recap, the Nuya is sitting at the base of the spine. The muscle that we contract is the perineum, so it's the muscle sitting between the anal or the anus and the vaginal wall, or the sex organs for males. So it's that little bridge of muscle, and it's really about a small contraction that you do. What you want to do is you want to make that contraction as small as you possibly can. So it must not be like a we're not doing Kegels over here. It's a very, very soft, gentle contraction. And all you want to do is as you contract the muscle, we activate and stimulate that particular light body center. And this cone shape can be a really, really fine cone, almost like a cylinder, or it could be really, really wide. The wider we open it up, the more we open up to the outside world. The more we close it up, the more we close to ourselves. So if you are in a public space and you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of people, you can close your Nuya. If you're in a space like nature where you want to soak up the frequencies, open up your Nuya. Remember, this brings in our frequencies into our physical body, and it helps us to find nourishment in our surroundings, and also can be used for manifestation and so forth. The dinya is sitting over the ovary points, and the muscles are sitting directly where the ovaries would be sitting. So guys, if you are there, just like pretend that you had ovaries. Where would they be? How would it feel if you contracted those lightly? For women, focus on where the ovaries are, and just you wanting to create a contraction of energy there. Again, try and make that contraction very, very light, very small, and in the area of the ovaries. As we do that, it forms waves around us. So imagine you standing in a pond of water, or a river or a lake or something. Let's go for a lake maybe, or a swimming pool where the water is nice and calm. And with each contraction, it sends out a wave all the way around 360 around you. So where the Nuya is pulling energy in, the dinya sends that energy out, and it raises the frequency of that. Then we've got the Liao, which is the three little marbles or three little points that is spinning around their own axis and then spinning around each other in very intricate little patterns. And as it does that, it sends out this waves that harmonizes and softens and smooths out the energy that sits within the Nuya, or that we're pulling in from the Nuya, and the energy that we are radiating out from the dinya. And then our new one that we're moving to is the Mumin Now, again, this is not an energy center. This is just a filter. It goes 360-degree dome. And yeah, we're going to be working with that one today. Okay, so let's get comfortable. I prefer sitting when I do these meditations, but there are some people who prefer to lie down. So whatever works for you. If you are sitting, then just make sure that you're sitting in a comfortable position. If you're sitting in a chair, feet are down on the floor. If you're sitting in the lotus or cross legs or however, have your spine nice and straight up. If you are sitting cross legs, I encourage you to actually sit on a bolster or a pillow or something. So you want to try and get your butt higher than your knees. If your knees are higher than the butt, we tend to slouch, and that's not good for the meditation. We want our spine to be nice and straight. What you can also do is you can tuck your chin a little bit so that you can gently open up the back of your spinal column around your head and your neck. So yes, and then follow along with any visualizations. Really, this is about experimenting and exploring. Allow yourself to move deep into whatever sensations you get. Do your best to contract the muscles. Remember, with our lower 3 centers, we have physical control. These are the only 3 centers where we have physical control. As we move to the higher centers, it's going to be reliant on your visualization and other sensations. So use the muscles. It's going to be there to help you. Welcome. And now, let us explore ways in which to experience more of these energies and to discover additional frequencies. And so, let yourself relax in that position that you have found to be most conducive to experiencing these subtle energies, to your exploring all that you can find within your awareness of all that is occurring and all that comes from these subtle energies. Now, as you continue to relax, let yourself follow on these patterns of the Nuya, the Dinya, and the Liao, and use them to enhance your experience. And as you follow upon your experience, remember that it is that experience and being that experience that you are after. So if our instructions go on a bit longer than you need, that is fine. You will hear those instructions that you need when we reach additional frequencies. Enjoy now. Nuya. 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 Adjusting the angle of the cone so it is just right for you, so it enhances your experience and increases your ability to be conscious of these subtle energies. Nuya. Now, bring your awareness to the dunya, noticing if you can find even more precisely and yet very gently the locations of the contractions on the dunya. 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 Following the waves out as far as you can in your awareness, as far as you can. Dunya. Dunya. Following that shift in frequency now. Dunya. Nuya. Using these two frequencies and centers now, bring your awareness to the Liao, making the contractions of the Nuya and the Dinya gentle and soft, as often as you need. And perhaps that will not be very often, as your awareness is drawn more and more to your experience. Being that experience now. Liao. 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 Remember to hang on to the rotations of these spheres as long as possible, through the many intricacies as possible. Liao. Floating on that experience. Let yourself be that experience. Floating. Floating. Being that experience. Perhaps doing a long, slow contraction on the Nuya to enhance that experience. Nuya. Now, bring your awareness to an area just above the Liao, a dome as it were, over the Liao, in the same area of your physical body as your diaphragm, just at the base of your rib cage, in that V and the notch in front. A dome, a curved plane of energy, capping, as it were, covering the Liao and extending out and away from your body a few feet, a plane of energy, a plane that will let all the energy that you want to pass, and only those frequencies. And as you experience that floating feeling, let all lifting and harmonious frequencies pass through this dome. Mumin. 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 Let yourself experience that floating higher and higher, just floating higher and higher, following the shift in frequency. Mumin. Bringing your awareness to the nuya, perhaps widening the cone, lengthening the cone. Nuya. Nuya. Following on the waves of the dunya now. Dunya. 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 Letting yourself float in that experience, floating more and more, being that experience, following the energy. You may notice that it comes in waves, this experience. Each time it passes, it lifts you further, more and more floating. Letting the cone increase its angle to whatever level is comfortable to you. Perhaps lengthening it a bit more as you relax even more. Observing, experiencing your energy, the energy that is moving now as a part of your system, your vibration. Nuya. With each contraction, notice how your awareness spreads through your body. You might notice the back of your head and your neck, the top of your head, areas just as though it seems inside your skull, at the top of your back. Nuya. Nuya. Diniya. 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 Watching the waves move out as far as you can with your awareness, as far as it is easy, and bring your awareness to the spheres of the Liao spinning about their own axes, rotating around one another in increasingly more intricate patterns, faster and faster. Good. Liao. Liao. Good. Just follow these shifts. Bring your awareness to that dome, the Mumin, letting all harmonious vibrations and frequencies, all harmony through now, experiencing that even more, becoming more and more your experience. Mumin. Mumin. Good. Letting yourself float on that experience even more now. Observing an area about you. Observing the energy about you. The energy you are creating by shifting the subtle frequencies. You might do a long or a slow contraction on the new year to enhance your ability to be aware even more of an even larger area. Nuya, 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 Nuya. Good. And again, magnified and move inside that experience, noticing all the layers, all levels of that experience, patterns of vibration within that, pattern upon pattern, following, moving, experiencing now, floating on that experience, just being, exploring, letting your awareness slowly be absorbed in that experience, all about you, front and back, right and left, up and down, moving out further away from your body, noticing the way that your energy supports this floating, and indeed creates this floating for you. Good. Being that experience now even more. Noticing that floating, that ecstasy, more and more completely. Pure ecstasy. Good. You may choose to come back now or to continue. Be sure to come back at your own pace, slowly and easily when you choose to, letting yourself integrate these experiences, becoming who you are now in this time and space. And with that, we bid you most pleasant journeys.